Hey everybody, we're back. I'm still shading this guy. This is still happening. And I've just noticed I have a Skype message below in this. I remember when I was actually shading it, I was like, I need to deal with this, but I'm recording, so I can't. So I don't even remember who it was. It actually may have been Luke. So welcome back to ThursDev. Great story, Grandpa. Tell us more about your Skype message. I'm shading this Vargouille Nosferatu looking dude, the floating vampire head. If you tuned in last week, you would know that I was this guy is, he's part of a Monster Jam group I'm part of in Facebook, and now we're getting down to the coloring part for him. So he's getting close to being all shaded up, and his values are in there, and his light, and now it's time for the part that I'm honestly and admittedly not amazing at. Like I mentioned in the last video, I was only really started getting into digital art seriously using a tablet, or a Cintiq in this case, in the last 6 years. So before that, I worked exclusively on paper and mostly black and white, which is why my black and white work tends to be pretty good. People like it, but my color work, I don't know. I still feel a lot of people like it, but I still feel like I've got a lot to learn. So, and watching my process here is going to be, it's gonna be very telling. So we'll see. So, I'm laying down some base colors here just to see what it looks like. But all the value work here is done for me. So, it's kind of a no-brainer. Like, of course, a black and white artist would work like this, and I've seen other people work like this. So it's not unheard of. It's a little controversial for the new digital artists out there who learned actually to paint light properly from the beginning. So I'm just doing my best here, but I like how this guy turned out in the end. So I think I'm not gonna change what I'm doing anytime soon. But if you have any tips, or if you're interested in showing me the way you do things, put a link below. I'd really like to see how you guys work. It's part of oh yeah. See, that was my reaction when I did that there too. Like, I'm always going through. Oh yeah, look at that. See, I'm always going through that list, trying to pick out how things look the best. There's no premeditation there. I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants, especially when it comes to coloring. So, okay. Oh, this is embarrassing. Okay, so here I decided, you know what? I really, really like him being like pitch black. He looks gross. He looks really scary. Unfortunately, I've lost all of my light, so I'll just go in and I'll paint the really bright spots again, so it make them stand out a little bit. So I begin super inefficiently going in and putting in the lights, the highlights again, and it's yeah. But like I said, it's my favorite part to do, so doing it again was nothing to me. It was just like, there was no part of me that was like, oh, I guess I have to do this again. It's like, yes, I get to do this again. So, this was more fun for me. But as you'll see, this all gets thrown out the window too. So, it's a very organic process. And I mean, believe it or not, like when I was creating his form, it was also a really organic process. It's just, it wasn't as obvious because I didn't mess up as much as I do in the coloring process. But that's to be expected. So, Yeah, and this is where having a more fleshed out description of a character would really help. When it's up to me, when I'm the art director and I'm kind of winging it, it's God, sorry, it's like lightning. When I'm winging it, there's not a lot of there's no guidance, so I get to pick on the fly, which isn't always the best thing. You know, I'm not working towards a goal. I figured this guy would be red, just like the old Vargouille monsters, which, by the way, are old Dungeons and Dragons monsters. I should have mentioned that last week. But yeah, they're old D&D monsters, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, D&D likes to take from folklore, but I don't know if Vargouille are actually anything. So it would be nice to know. If you know, let me know. Yeah, so I was pretty pleased with the black, but I'm iffy on it now. I mean, there's some cool aspects to it, but I gotta get rid of this pencil. Oh yeah, put some purple in there. What a great idea. Like I said, like as you can see, I'm really just playing. And if it works, I'm always super happy. And I'm pretty happy with the purple. I'm gonna put some of that color down into the teeth. And yeah. So I eventually, and now I'm like, what did I see in that? There's nothing there. It's not interesting. And there's at some point where I'm like, yeah, I agree. There's nothing about this black creature that's interesting. Also, usually I play around with the background before I even begin, but I didn't this time because I really just wanted to get into it. Add some glowing eyes. The purple's really nice. Oh yeah, see, I really like that. Now let me put a couple. Yeah, let's get some purple highlights in there. Those are super glowing eyes. Like I said, painting light, so much fun, and it's because it's got an instant gratification thing. As soon as you put it in there, it's like, oh yeah, this is starting to be a real thing. This is starting to have actual 3D qualities, and it's a lot of fun. So this is where I decided that it was way too dark, and I'm glad I came to that realization, because I came to that realization now. And I lightened it up a little bit, started adding some purple highlights to purple coloring, not highlights, to his ears. But he didn't have enough color. I felt he was just kind of. But you know, you can see the process as it goes along. It's starting to come together. So it's like, yeah, let me color the end of his tentacles purple as well, just to bring some more of that element in. And maybe around his gums and where his teeth are. Yeah, this is good. So yeah, like if I had a more precise description of what this guy was supposed to be, it would be yeah. Oh yeah, and this is when I basically copy all the layers together and I play with them and play with the hue just to get something that I would have never even considered before when coloring, which is all the time, because my eye for color isn't fantastic, and I haven't really been at it that long. So to be able to go and do that and adjust the hue on the fly is awesome, and it comes up with different color combinations that I never would have even tried. So whoops, camera raw, that's what you want. So here I'm attempting to add some blood. He is a bloodsucker after all, so I'm gonna put some blood onto his teeth, and I'll draw some actual blood, and then I forget what blending mode I actually use to make it work. That's another thing, like, because I work so organically like this, I don't often pay attention to what blending modes I use. They're just kind of whatever looks best. And I think a lot of people actually work that way, but you know, I multiply, overlay, color burn I use a lot. And for that I use what is it? I think it was color burn. Wow, that's crazy. No, that can't be true. Anyway, so I go in and I'm starting adding highlights to the blood to make it seem wet and gross. And again, I will take any excuse I can to paint light onto anything. And something like wet like this, oh yeah, that's awesome. Feels good. So I turned down the opacity a little bit. And then, oh yeah, the drip drops. So this guy at this point is coming along really nicely. I'm very pleased with him, and that's why I cover him with orange, because this is this is my attempt to try to change the background, and as I'm doing it, this is what I discover. I'm like, whoa, that's cool. That's so cool. Maybe I should keep this. Oh. But in the end, I don't really like it after spending some time with it. So I play around, and man, that's the thing. That's the best thing about the Photoshop blending modes. You can get a lot of interesting effects, and then at the end, I just kind of play it, and this is what I come up with. I add the light source, and bingo bango. I am pretty pleased, and this is exactly the direction I want to go. So I'll just make some of the highlights pop a little more, because that's what I'm addicted to, apparently. And he's getting very close to done. So if you guys like what you saw here, and you'd like to see me do some more concept stuff on ThursDev and give Luke more breaks, let me know and in the comments, and I'll see what I can do. This is a blast. I'm drawing all the time anyway. I'm part of this Monster Jam group. All I have to do is throw on a recording while I'm doing it, and it's great. And if you absolutely hate it, trust me, I'll know. I'll know. So just let me know, because it's a lot of fun. So the next step for this guy, and I don't think it's going to be on the next Thursday, we'll let Luke talk about interesting things for a while. But I do eventually want to make this guy into 3D, and I haven't started that yet, but that is definitely coming down the lane, and you'll get to see my process and how I make a high poly sculpt and then turn it into a low poly sculpt for gaming. So it's an interesting process, but there's no light there. Don't put a light there. I know you're desperate to get any kind of more interesting light there. But I'm really pleased how this guy turned out. I'm kind of baffled by the way I do things sometimes. Even though I am me. Like, that kind of looks good, but there's nothing there. So I'm really curious as to what I was thinking would happen. I just wanted it to pop a little more. I don't know. So anyway, next time you will see me on ThursDev, I will be look at that. I will be making this guy in 3D. Thanks, everybody.